Hey everyone, welcome to the Doom Dominion. And just to start off, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. So I am a game developer. I'm almost 40, so I've been playing Doom ever since it came out. Wolfenstein 3D would have been the first person shooter I ever played, and that would have been at my neighbor's house as I was terrified of the German shepherds in that, and I was very very young at the time as well, and at that point, I was begging my parents to get us a computer, a PC, because I hadn't used a computer to play a game yet at that time. I had an NES, a Super NES, and a Sega Genesis, but not a PC in the early 90s. So my dad, through his work, they had like this, buy a computer and we pay for it. And then we just like take, I think it was like $40 or 50 off your paycheck every couple weeks. I don't remember, but it was something like that my dad had. Cause this was the early 90s, they were, workplaces were trying to promote, people buying computers, computers were a newer thing in the home. And so I was, my neighbor, myself, I didn't really actually know that many more people when I was young who had a PC. So a lot of the people, to get back to Doom here, when Doom came out, because when I got my PC, it was just before Doom came out. And I had never played anything like that, and playing, waiting for other people to be able to play the ports. Because like I said, I didn't know many people who had PCs at the time, and they always wanted to, they're like, Doom, what is this game? Oh, maybe when it comes out, and then, the ports, that'll be for another video, the various ports of Doom. But I remember some of my friends like, this game is horrible, it runs horrible, this and that. The sound is awful. I can't remember which port it was, but it's because these versions, not every port was great. Anyways, that's a little bit of my history as a first-person shooter player. So I am a bit older. I've been playing Doom since it came out, and every iteration since. I'm a big first-person shooter fan. As I said, I am a game developer. My I'm developing right now is a first-person shooter. But anyways, what's this channel about? It's about Doom. We're going to be talking about Doom the Dark Ages. That's what's getting us started here. And today we are looking at the 10 best new details that we saw in the newest reveal of Doom the Dark Ages. So, number 1. Doom Guy's face is back. And yes, I may say Doom Guy, I may say Slayer. Again, given my history, I've used both for a long time. Obviously, Doom Guy a lot more. So I may call him Doom Guy, I may call him the Slayer, I may call him the Doom Guy Slayer or the Slayer Doom. I don't know. Well, but he's either one to me. Anyways, so the Doom Guy's face is back. So if you notice in the game footage at the bottom between your health and your shield, you can see that there's a face there, and just like the original, he's looking like back and forth and looking around. In none of the footage we've seen like blood, taking damage like in the original, Doom 1 and 2 and such. But my guess, my hypothesis is maybe that will change when you get power-ups. So certain power-ups will make his face change. And that's, far, you get those far less than just taking damage every moment, or, taking hits to your arm or whatever. So I think that's how it's going to be used. But that's a great new detail. Great to see that face back. And I'm excited to see how it's going to be used. All right, number 2. The original Imp Design is back from Doom 1 and 2. Now I had this tweet go viral, almost hitting 1 million views, maybe over 1 million views now by the time this goes out, where I spotted and compared, you can see the original Imp in that very similar design back in Doom the Dark Ages. It's great to see these original designs. It has been very cautious, I guess. They're not just bringing everything back all the time, so it's like neat to see how they sprinkle the kind of nostalgia things like that throughout the newer games without it being like, hit over your head moment. All right, number 3. The Crucible has been spotted. So the Crucible has been spotted here in stained glass in footage. So I've got a freeze frame here where you can see it. Does this mean you're going to use it? Probably not. But it's neat to see it. We're going to see more lore get expanded. And I love the worlds that they've created with the new trilogy now. And I can't wait to see what they do next and how they further build the lore and how the Crucible will play into Doom the Dark Ages. All right, number 4. The collector's edition statue has faux fur. So, I'm a huge collector, both for video game items and franchises I love. And I have a lot of Doom merchandise, a lot of Doom goodies. And I got the collector's edition for whatever they're going to call it. I just call it all a collector's edition because they always come up with some other name. But the statue, as you can see, it represents the new redesign of the Slayer for Doom the Dark Ages. And the fur, right? He's got that beautiful fur coat. And on the statue, it's fur. It's faux fur. It's, not fur from a real animal. It's fake. But it's going to be, fuzzy and fur-like versus being like a weird plasticky thing. So that's a great little detail. And I've got a lot more. I'm going to talk about the collector's edition in a separate video, like other details, like comparing. So this is a 12-inch statue that's coming with this edition for Doom the Dark Ages, and we're going to compare it to like the modern Icons Slayer statue, which is 9.5 inches, so it will be bigger than that one, for example, but that will be in a separate video. Keep an eye out for that one. All right, at number 5, we've got the new Glory Kill system. Now, as they described in the reveal, this is going to be much more flexible, much more dynamic, and I can't wait to see how it all works in action and in your hands. It is still called the Glory system. I've seen other YouTubers, Under the Mayo and someone else, can't remember, trying to call it something else. It said it's still Glory Kills. I'm going to still call them Glory Kills. They've been, adjusted how they've been in every single game with the new trilogy, and I just see it as that. It's just an evolution of it. They're still Glory Kills. They'll just be a bit different. Number 6. Campaign overload. So there's no multiplayer. They're not doing any multiplayer. They are fully focused on the campaign. They said this is going to be their largest campaign ever. There's going to be parts where you're going to be flying on that dragon we've seen. There's multiple skins, so I'm going to be talking about that in the collector's edition for the dragon, which makes me think it's going to be a lot more, than they're letting on as part of the game. And where you can control the Atlas, the huge, massive walking mechs. And everything is going to be just much bigger. I looked at those characters they showed, and very, very quickly, like the animation, the faces, they've done a tremendous job on capturing, this human and almost realistic look while retaining, the Doom art style that they've done with this trilogy. And I can't wait to see where the story, the cutscenes, the set pieces are going to go. And I think it's going to be beyond what we've seen with Doom 2016 and Eternal. At number 7, what is this weapon? So there's tons of different weapons they showed off, from the melee ones and more, the chain shield. But this one that I have on the screen, what is this? It doesn't look like anything else we've seen in a Doom game in this trilogy, and they showed off that like double plasma nail gun, like triple combo gun, but you look at it and you're like, yeah, that reminds me of these guns in Doom or even Quake. But this thing, Doesn't look like anything. So I'm extremely excited to find out what this weapon does, its history and lore, and yeah, I'm very excited. And this kind of gets us into number 8, Quake Connection. So, as you can see in these two freeze frames that I took here, you'll notice that these are the Tempest Shrines. And if you know any, I don't play much Quake Champions, but I've looked through the lore. I try to keep up because it's the only bit of new Quake we've gone in a long time. But the Tempest Shrines are seen here in this footage of Doom the Dark Ages. They're in Quake Champions. Is it just Quake Champions that took that from Doom trilogy art style? And like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're trying to convey here. Is this a Quake connection? We saw that Quake 6 tease during that preview of Indiana Jones behind the scenes by Machine Games. There was a Quake 6 logo and on a whiteboard there. So could Doom the Dark Ages be leading into a connection with Quake 6 that Machine Games has been working on? These Tempest Shrines make it seem like it is, so I'm getting a little excited, but I don't want to get too excited. All right, on to the next one. Number 9, Invincibility Eyes. These classic eyes. So in the original Doom games, again from the 90s, when you either used a cheat code or got the power up to go invincible or have God mode on, the eyes would glow. And I'm showing the comparison here. And if you see in almost every single time you see the Slayer in the Doom the Dark Ages footage that they've shown, he has these glowing eyes. Now, it's absolutely not going to mean you are invincible, right? So you can't just have God mode on all the time. But I think this is possibly just how much powerful he is, under control by the makers here and working under them and such. I don't know, but I think this is a cool detail, and I can't wait to see what other details like this we see. All right, and at number 10, accessibility, like always and forever. During the gameplay reveal, they showed not only, that the game will be for new players, it's going to be accessible, just like Doom has been always, but these fine-tuned sliders for so many different settings for the combat and gameplay that any fan should be able to find their difficulty, their fun in the sandbox that they're creating here at id Software. And again, I'm going to throw this. Doom has always had those very easier options. I'm too young to die, hey, not too rough, be gentle, recruit, bringing back I'm too young to die, and those same ones in the new ones. It's always there. Now they're giving even more options. I think they saw the kind of box they put themselves in with the high difficulty they did with the Ancient Gods part 1 and 2. And, we saw it with, the changes they made to part 1 when part 2 came out. There was the whole controversy within the community, things like that. A lot of people who championed the difficulty back then are trying to just forget about it and just say, Doom is new and it's a different thing and that's awesome. Totally ignoring what they used to champion. Doom 2016 was different. Doom Eternal was different. Dark Ages was going to be different. It was always going to be different. So I'm unsure what that kind of argument even is. But Doom 3 was extremely different. So yeah, Doom is always going to be different. It's not going to be made for hardcore players only. Cater to difficult encounters, try to create a first person Dark Souls type game. And I really think you're gonna see a lot of those people are when they saw the medieval setting too, Anyways, that's enough for that points. That's other videos I'm going to be making. Like I said, I've got videos coming up about the collector's edition, about the premium content and what that tells us about the game. Like the DLC, like it shows we are getting DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages campaign DLC, because that's all they're working on. That's what it's called in the promo shots that they've given us and stuff, along with other videos about Doom: The Dark Ages. And like I said, this channel is going to be delving into all things Doom. I'm going to be looking back on retrospectives of all the Doom games leading up to Doom: The Dark Ages. I'm going to be looking at recent GZ Doom games that have been made, and because the Doom engine is still being used to make first-person shooters today in 2025. One of the best first-person shooters of last year, not mine, but for many, was Shirrako, which was one of the best first-person shooters of 2024, and is on the GZ Doom engine. Of course, it's been built upon to the extreme, but it's still that base engine that they're using to this day. So yeah, we'll be reviewing games like that too. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me here on my first video here at the Doom Dominion, and we'll be back soon with more. See you next time. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and give me suggestions for future videos. Peace and love. I'm out.